A fishing village in Malaysia has been converted to vegetarianism by persistent Tzu Chi volunteers. Tzu Chi volunteers rushed to help a solitary senior who is battling diabetes and other afflictions. I'm Sean Scanlon. This is Dai Headlines. In Malaysia, Tzu Chi volunteers joined hands with an elementary school to hold a very special gathering. At the event, participants made lanterns with recycled materials and also enjoyed vegetarian food. While it is difficult to promote vegetarianism in this fishing village, volunteers did not give up.
Tzu Chi volunteers use Jingsi food products to make cakes. They're holding a vegetarian evening gathering at Chonghua Elementary School.
We really appreciate our school and Tzu Chi volunteers for preparing vegetarian food for us. Many parents have come to the gathering with their children. We've asked the food provider to use real plates and bowls so there's no plastic garbage.
It is difficult to promote vegetarianism in this fishing village. After all, the villagers are used to consuming seafood.
We have been promoting environmental protection for 16 years. In recent years, we try even harder to promote environmental protection in schools. For instance, last month, we installed a drinking fountain at the school. We have also installed another one in the village. We hope the villagers and children will cut down use of bottled water.
To promote environmental protection, the volunteers also invited children to make lanterns with recycled materials.
The children will learn from the experience and know about environmental protection.
The younger generation has gradually forgotten traditional culture. Therefore, we want to hold this activity for the residents of the entire village and the students.
As the students enjoy playing with the lanterns, they've also learned about traditional culture and environmental protection.
Fujian province experienced torrential rain in July. Tzu Chi volunteers once again went into the affected towns to conduct aid distributions and rebuild houses. This time they plan to rebuild houses for 135 households in 2 towns before the Lunar New Year, so the affected residents can have a home as soon as possible.
After 3 months, Xiamen Tzu Chi volunteers revisited Shunchang County that had suffered from a flood in July. The hug meant a lot to the residents. This is local resident Tzu Chi. She has lost everything after the flood, and she was afraid that she couldn't survive without Tzu Chi's help.
I'll never forget your help to us. You're so compassionate, and I wish you all good health and longevity. The first time they shed tears of helplessness. This time they're very excited to see us because they're touched that we came all the way to see them. It's also a comfort to me.
Grandma Li's son is working in another city, and it happens to be his birthday when volunteers visited. Although he is not around, volunteers accompanied Grandma Li on this day.
Your son's birthday was the hardest day for you, although he's not here for the birthday and the National Day, but we will celebrate with you for him. Happy birthday.
Grandma Wu and her husband, who is ill, live in a rental house. The elderly couple were happy to have so many visitors today. After the flooding in Fujian County in July, Renshou and Yongdun Town in Shunchang County were heavily damaged. Tzu Chi has hosted emergency aid distributions as well as helping the local government to rebuild the houses.
To rebuild the houses is indeed a burden to the town government. Tzu Chi has supported us greatly financially and in many aspects.
The new houses are now under construction. in hopes that the affected residents can move into the new home before the Lunar New Year and have a good Chinese New Year holiday.
In Malaysia, most Chinese people celebrate the Nine Emperor Gods Festival, which lasts from the 1st till the 9th day of the 9th lunar month. During the festival, people will observe a vegetarian diet and pray for safety and auspiciousness. The other celebrations include a pilgrimage and welcoming ceremony. Here is more.
The
Nine Emperor Gods originate in Taoist beliefs. In Ming Dynasty, there is a book which records the birthday of the Taoist gods. It records that Nine Emperor Gods is formed by the 7 stars of the Big Dipper and 2 assistant stars. In the 9th lunar month, we can create great merits by observing vegetarian diet. This is a belief in Taoism. Taoism respects nature. The world, God, sun, moon, and stars have energy. For common people who observe a vegetarian diet during the 9 days, they can gain abundant merit and get rid of their afflictions and disasters, lengthening their lives.
Chinese people in Malaysia celebrate the birthdays of Nine Emperor Gods with lavish celebrations. This includes a pilgrimage of the deities, religious rites, and blessing ceremonies. Outside the Guanyin Temple in Penang, there's a bamboo pole that's nearly 40 meters tall. This temple combines Buddhism and Taoism, welcoming the Nine Emperor Gods back to the temple with a traditional Buddhist ceremony.
We are a Buddhist cultivation temple. Every temple is different. We focus on the sutras. This is how we are different. The incense, when placed in the incense burner, the ceremony means to welcome the deities with auspicious clouds. The bamboo pole here indicates that there is a temple here, including the protecting deities. Deities will know that there is a religious ceremony here. We religious practitioners will also know that a temple is celebrating the Nine Emperor Gods Festival.
Most of the Chinese people in Malaysia will observe a vegetarian diet during the 9 days of the Nine Emperor Gods Festival. The vegetarian food stalls provide them with a variety of vegetarian food.
Taoist precepts include a precept of no killing. Taoism upholds this precept to embrace vegetarianism. Vegetarianism means you need to stay pure in your body and mind. Therefore, during the 9 days, we hope people will not kill animals but embrace vegetarianism.
Paying respect to Nine Emperor Gods is widely practiced in Southeast Asian countries. As people uphold their history and cultural heritage, there is a hope their wisdom can be enhanced.
Today, vegetarianism also includes elements of environmental protection and health. A technology company in Malaysia has been providing free vegetarian lunch for its employees to safeguard their health. Meanwhile, another Malaysian has turned his wonton business from one that once offered meat to now going meatless. Let's see their stories.
As times change, vegetarianism is not only limited to religion.
Vegetarian food can make the environment healthier since most of the greenhouse gases come from livestock industry, which consumes a lot of natural resources. So when we eat these animals, we're actually making more greenhouse gases, which leads to more extreme weather.
Located in Penang, Vitros, which is a technology company, integrates the concept of green living into its architecture and business development. It started advocating vegetarianism since 2010 and has been providing vegetarian lunch for its employees for a long time.
The first purpose is to safeguard our employees' health, since the meatless diet is very healthy. The second purpose is not killing, and hence we can cultivate compassion of our employees. The third is for environmental protection. I hope that each of our employees can make a contribution to the earth. At the beginning, only more than 60% of employees joined the lunch, yet our target is 80% of our employees to participate in this vegetarian lunch.
After the company moved to the new site in 2018, a professional chef was hired to prepare vegetarian lunch for employees. Now there are more than 400 employees joining the lunch.
With a view to encourage more employees to participate in this vegetarian diet, we have a meeting with the chef every Friday to discuss lunch menus which are more nutritious.
Through this program, our company not only provides free vegetarian lunch for us, it also let us know vegetarian food is delicious.
是我们种的那个 melon, rock melon.
The company has also set aside a space for employees to plant organic fruits and vegetables. It also set up booths in the canteen to allow employees to purchase their own agricultural products at preferential price. The rise of environmental awareness has led to an increase in the number of people promoting healthy vegetarian diets. In Kuala Kangsar, Yu Shen, who is a Tzu Chi volunteer and sells wonton noodles, turned to embrace vegetarianism with his family more than 10 years ago. 8 years before, he resolutely changed his business of wonton noodles, which has been run for decades, from a mixed diet to a vegetarian diet.
2004年那时候有个大地震，然后水那个海啸又来。
My mother passed away in a tsunami arising from an earthquake in 2004. Then I was inspired to repay my parents. I heard the Dharma and learned that selling and eating meat is not good. I wanted to go meatless, but I didn't know how to do it. I asked many people and tried myself using my own experience. At the beginning, I was very tired. About half of the customers left. I've even been blamed by my boss to work harder, yet I knew I was very serious. Although he didn't understand, I tried my best to do it.
老板，你不知道，你不了解，不用紧，吞下去那些苦也吞下去，吃ข้等於吃飽。
Even if the business is facing difficulties, Yu Shen still insists on doing it, setting a good example for his son.
人与人相处是比较辛苦，比较。
It is hard to get along with people, but if something is correct, we still have to insist on it.
The significance of embracing vegetarianism has changed from self-cultivation in the old days to promotion of environmental protection and health. This change has also made vegetarianism a new part of life for many people.
In Suzhou, China, there's a solitary grandma who suffers from diabetes. In the past, she did not trust Tzu Chi volunteers and rejected their offer of help. Then one time she fell at home due to her illness and asked the volunteers for help. Tzu Chi volunteers' love and care has changed her, as volunteers have become the grandma's biggest support.
去那个奶奶家打扫完之后，第一次再到奶奶家去探访的时候呢，奶奶就是语气态度就是很不好，就是叫我们滚滚滚。
In the past, Grandma Lu Jiwen had rejected the volunteers' help for several months. The reason may be that she thought the volunteers had a hidden agenda. They thought of a way to communicate with her.
奶奶也很有文化，那我们大家来写一封信。
The grandma is graduated. Let's write a letter telling her we truly want to accompany her. She might not know about Tzu Chi, so we placed the letter and Tzu Chi monthly magazine in front of her doorstep. Later, this letter changed Grandma's life.
The volunteers brought timely help. While Grandma Lu was hospitalized, the volunteers contacted her family and provided much-needed love and care. After returning home, Grandma Lu was willing to let the volunteers help her bathe, clean the house, and assemble a new bed frame. Since patients should not live alone, Grandma Lu has moved into a senior apartment. When the volunteers visit her again, she looked refreshed. From caring for Grandma Lu to visiting the entire senior apartment, the volunteers have overcome the misunderstanding with sincerity and love.
In Xiamen, China, after 5 months of continuously visiting families in Liancheng County, local volunteers also joined Tzu Chi, helping provide care for those who need more support and compassion.
When Tzu Chi volunteers visited Grandma Ma, she was drying clothes upstairs at her house. Grandma Ma is 81 years old now. However, since her 2 kids are disabled, she has to do all the housework on her own. Grandma Ma's daughter is not feeling well. Volunteers help her to the backyard, cleaning up her hair, giving her a massage, making her feel better.
I didn't think I could do this when I saw you were washing her hair in the past. But today I did it naturally. I feel like I improved my skills a bit now.
First, when I walked into her house, I had no idea how to help. But when I saw you guys offering help with care and kindness, I realized that I should make some contribution as well. I should give more help to those who need it.
Her granddaughter came back home, giving some rice to her grandmother. The volunteers encourage her to come visit her grandmother more often. This couple's roof leaks whenever it rains. On this day, the volunteers have come to help fix their dilapidated home.
You guys moved me by doing the good deeds for others. I feel happy as well when helping others.
After fixing the house, volunteers also help put up mosquito net for them. The care recipient is now so happy and grateful as he walks the volunteers out of their house.
In autumn, the fall armyworm in Taiwan can proliferate quickly and is proving to be resistant to pesticides. According to experts, 5th to 6th stage of the larvae have increased drug resistance. The COA is appealing to farmers to use different types of pesticides to avoid the emergence of pesticide resistance. They're also advocating the use of natural predators to control this bug epidemic. The farmer poured the pesticide into the spraying machine and started spreading it onto the fields. The spread of the fall armyworm in Jinmen is happening quite quickly, with most of the area already infested. Government and farmers are currently checking to see if such pesticides are leading to increased drug resistance, which remains to be seen. 2 days after spraying, the sole farmer patrols the field and found that there are quite a few fall armyworms which are still feeding.
Some still remain, about 75% remaining, so they will continue to eat crops without dying.
If you don't completely kill it with a spraying of pesticides, the next generation may be resistant to these pesticides.
Resistance to pesticide leads to their survival, as we found in the field that the majority are 5th and 6th stage larvae.
When studying this larva, we found that its first, second, third, and fourth stage can be cured with very low doses of pesticides. But at the fifth or sixth stage, very high doses of pesticides may not be able to cure it.
The research team found that the larvae of the 5th and 6th stage have an increased amount of oxidative enzymes in the body.
Its enzyme is easily induced by pesticide, so when there are external stimuli from spraying, its detoxifying enzyme will increase, so the resistance becomes very strong.
The fall armyworm is becoming more resistant to pesticides as the government is telling farmers to be careful of overuse due to limited efficacy and to rotate treatment methods.
Because it has a short lifespan, it can quickly adapt to pesticides, so each time we have to give it a different dose to reduce its resistance.
The government has announced more than 10 types of pesticides based upon different elements such as organophosphorus, pyrethrines, and carbonic acid to be used interchangeably.
When you use the same agent all the time, it will create resistance. It may be 200 times more resistant or 300 times. At this period of time, your treatment may not be completely ineffective.
Excessive use of pesticides will not only create more resistance in the fall armyworm, but their natural predator, a wasp, will also be eliminated.
If the natural enemy continues to exist in the field, it will not be able to prosper. If there are few natural enemies, then it will thrive.
The wasp is less than 0.5 centimeters and can only be seen clearly through a microscope. This parasitic wasp was originally a biological control method against a grass moth. It is recently found to be effective in fighting the fall armyworm.
When this parasitic wasp is confirmed to be effective, I also hope that farmers will buy this from Taiwan Sugar, which has been producing these larvae eggs.
Each egg sheet produced by Thai Sugar contains thousands of wasp eggs. Farmers only need to put it in the vicinity of their crops. When the wasp eggs hatch and become adults, they will lay eggs on the fall armyworm eggs once they found them.
When it lays eggs on the egg of a fall armyworm, it will eat the material inside the egg so that the egg will not hatch into a larva. Since there are no larvae, our plants will not be eaten.
The biological control of this parasitic wasp can only be applied if pesticides on the farmland are dispersed.
It can fly about 10 meters, so it can put one every 10 meters. When the eggs start hatching, it does a good job of suppressing the fall armyworm. They are quite effective, potentially consuming at least 50% of the armyworm.
This parasitic wasp is currently in the laboratory revealing really good results. How to apply this in the field for biological pest control is still something that we need to confirm.
Biological control, improving cultivation, and preventing resistant varieties are the base level of field monitoring. The middle layer is pheromone traps, and the top level of the pyramid is chemical spraying. This is the COA's draft prevention methods for pest control.
When this armyworm develops roots in Taiwan, we have to find a way to manage it with other pests. We can't simply rely upon one method to control it, as we need a more integrated approach.
Maintaining natural enemies and avoiding drug resistance is the core of epidemic treatment for the fall armyworm. A harmonious existence between human and nature is the best way to pursue long-term epidemic prevention. Double 10 Day, which also serves as Taiwan's National Day. A large military parade and speeches took place outside the presidential office. We will leave you with these images. Goodbye.